their block
Israel,
of code.
Israel, Israel.
So their block of code which runs. Oh,
Can you just start from input before a function, then
okay, no problem.
class? Let's start from input. They need to have the knowledge of input, okay?
So input. Hello guys. So input, as you can see, as you hear the word input and output. Output means what the user sees, right? Then input means whatever the users, whatever information you are collecting from the users, right? Please, you can unmute your mic and just answer me in case. No need to raise up your hand in case because there's limited time. So inputs are what the developer collects, or so the information you as the developer you collect from where your clients. Clients are also your users, people that use the website or whatever data you use. So to declare your inputs in Python, we use what is called inputs, input, followed by your parentheses. So we use this input followed by your parentheses. So now let's work with an input to test. Let's see what type of input this thing takes in. We say name. Remember, this is a variable. We are creating a variable called name. Name is equals to what? Input. So what is input taking? In here, you can put a string and say enter your username so that users can know that they are entering what? Their username. So here we can say print what or print. Let's check the type. What input take? Print type name. If you're in the formal class, you should understand what type mean. So we want to check what is input collecting. What type is input a? Is input a string? Is input a integer or what? Let's know what input is taking. So when we click on run, we'll see the type input is taking. It's taking long time to run. So let me just tell you what input taking is a string. Input by default taking what? A string by default. Yes, input by default. It takes in a string. I think this network, why is network affecting this? So input by default, input takes in what? A string by default. So by default, input is what? A string. So when we print name, I was trying to show you guys the inputs that this takes in. Hello, does somebody have something to say? Okay, so type. When we check the type, let's see if the network will still allow us to do this. So when we check the type, by default, input is taking what? Is taking type of what? A string. So by default, input is taking what? Class what? Class of what? A string by default. So input is need to taking string. So now how to use input? Let's say now when we say enter the type of input. Now when we say now we are checking what input taking is a string, right? So now we want to enter the input and say enter your username. So what will be your username? So here it will say enter your username. So we can type here and say Martins, right? And you click on enter. When you click on enter, nothing is executed, right? Because why? Our print is not printing any name. So when you click on run again and say enter your username, when you say Martins, it will print out what? It will print out, it will come out as a string and say Martins. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you click and you say get Martins 1, 2, 3, right? So this is how input work. So now to use input. Quickly, today class, this is a special class, but since there's no time, today we'll be working with that ATM stuff that we actually talk about. So if you're in our formal class or if you're not in the formal class, go back to the YouTube video, understand what our dictionaries and list was talking about. So today we'll be working with dictionary bank, a little banking system. So pay attention. So if you remember this was a dictionary, right? Yeah, so if you're in the formal class, you remember dictionary. So dictionary takes in what? It takes in a key and what? A value. now in our bank system, what do we have? We have username, right? You have your name. Yes, your name. So what is your name by default? Your name can be, let's say Martins KK, right? So let's say now you have account. Your account is this account to something something something. Yeah, these are banks work, right? So it's to this your account number now. So right. So automatically that's an integer. So what other thing the bank has? Okay, amount, right? So bank has your amount, right? Amount is let's say you have the sum of let's say 200,000, 200, yeah, 20,000, 200,000. So you have the sum of 200,000 in your account. So now in input, how does input work now? So now remember here, we can print bank to test to see if our dictionary is correct. So when we print on bank, it will print out list of bank. So now, okay, let's say invalid syntax. Where perhaps you say perhaps you forgot a comma in line what? Line what? One? Let's see. Okay, yes, supposed to be what? A string. So Martins KK. So when we run, so the compiler was not smart enough. So you need to be smarter than the compiler. So it gives you what the dictionary, your account number. So how does bank work? Imagine you have this 200,000 now in your account now, and you have that is now you have a debit, right? Debit. So here we are going to put what debit to know the new debit of account that you have already now. So let's say debit is what? So we are going to call new debit. We'll create a new debit and say new debit is equals to what? Your amount by default. Now let's give your amount the 2,000 naira. This is a variable 200, right? 200,000, right? So your amount now, we can do this and say amount because by default this is your amount, right? 200,000. So we have a new debit, right? Amount minus that's 200,000. So we cannot minus 200,000. Let's say you buy something in the market. Let's say goods. You buy goods of goods what is equals to. Let's say you buy goods of let's say 5,000 naira, right? 5,000 naira. So now we want to minus what the amount from where? From the goods, right? Shade that works. Abi, you minus the goods from the amount. Okay, so we minus the goods from where the amount, right? So now in this amount, in these goods now, let's say we don't know the total figure of these goods. We can say input is what? We can use an input and say what? Who can guess? And say what? So users can input the amount. So yeah, remember input by default is a string. Remember input is a string. So and string cannot, you cannot add integers with string. So what we are going to do here, we are going to convert what? That input to an integer. We say int followed by your open what? Parameters. Then inside your open parameters, we're going to put what? Input, open the parameters again and say enter what? Enter total, enter the goods, the amount of goods. So the total amount of goods you are buying, automatically you are subtracting what? The total amount of goods, Abi, minus your total amount. So by default here, if we take this guy, new debit and copy it and put it in this debit, yeah. So we're getting what the total amount. But first of all, it will say enter what? Enter your amount. Remember this goods. Enter amount of what? Amount of goods. Enter amount of goods. So forget, okay, enter amount of goods. So the amount of goods now that I want to buy, let's say is what? Let's say 10,000 naira. So if I click here, enter, have you seen my new debit is now what? So this is my new debit. So we have automatically used input to what? To work with our dictionary, yes. This is how your ATM works. So the same thing apply. This is your name. You want to change your name from the database or you want to work. This is how data entry and everything works. You can call what? You can say input. Your input is what? You can say enter your new name, enter your new name, enter your new name. So here you are going to put what? You are going to put name. So this is how everything works, how the system works. So when you click on your name, so when you say enter your new name, I can change this name to what? To Moses. So when I enter the total amount of goods I'm buying, 500 naira. So when I click, automatically my name in my dictionary has changed to what? Moses, and my new amount has changed to what? After the total amount I had before, it has changed to what? 19,000 naira. So yeah, your amount is not supposed to be showing, it's supposed to be giving you what? Your new debits, right? Your new debits now. So when you click on run, everything works well. So these are automatically inputs work, collecting inputs from the users. So if you have any question, quickly rush up because we are moving now to function. You can just unmute your mic and ask the question. But if there's no question, please let's proceed because we have little time. So does anyone have any question so I can move on? You can unmute your mic and just ask. If you understand it very well so I can move on to functions.
Hello,
Okay, maybe everybody
okay,
understands.
let me ask them. Okay, Abigail, omit your mind. Do you understand this class?
Good evening, sir. Not exactly because I came in late.
Okay.
Okay.
So
But I don't want to take us back. I said I watched the video.
Okay. So
okay, let me just quickly do a little recap on it from the beginning. So we're talking about input. We said what input does. Input take in what? Information from where? From the user. So as a data analyst or a data scientist, what do? You have to get data from user and what? Also display the results to what? The organization or to the specific person that needs that data. So now, the person that needs those data you are displaying it to, the process of displaying that data, which is here, is what? Our output. Then the process of collecting that data is what? Input. So input means to collect, to gather data, while output means to display the data. Now, in Python, to collect what? Input from user, we use what is called input. In, I'm coming, let me see. In, so this is it. We use what is called input. Input. Open what? Your parameters. If you remember about your opening and closing. So you follow your inputs like this. Then now you have to put in what? A string and say, please enter your age or anything you want to enter. Please enter your age. So this input now we are collecting what? Age what? We are collecting age information. But I told you now by default that now that input by default is what? A string by default. Input is a string. So here now we are creating what? A variable called age. So we say age is equals to what? Input, right? So we are telling the users to input what? Your age. So if you come here and say print, it's like the normal thing we have been doing. If we come here and say print what? Age. So if we click on our run button, it will tell us, please enter your age, right? So if I put the age and say this 30 and click on enter, it will print what? It will print out the output. Are you seeing the output? Output is what? Age 30, the age that you have entered. So now by default, if you remember by default, I told you I say input take what? A string by default. So now remember when we were doing type, if you had followed our class from the beginning, type, to check which type of data we're working with. When we do list, when I say type this function give us what? If I say type, it will tell us that this type is what? Is it a list? Is it a dictionary? If you remembered, a list, dictionary, and set. So using type, it will tell you this is what? A string by default. So now we want to check what is this guy carrying? Is he a string or integer? So I came here and said type what, open what, and say age. So if I check on age, by default it's taking what? A string. So yeah, just say put any number or anything. So if I click enter, it's saying this is a class of what? String. So by default, input by default is taking what? A string. So now, in inputs now, we say A now, A is equals to what? We can say A is equals to what? B, right? Or A is equals to 20, then B is equals to what? 30, right? So now this, if you see these inputs now, if you see these inputs now we are trying to say this input now, we are trying to convert it to what? An integer. To convert this input to an integer now, we have to do what is called int. We'll just put int here, int followed by your parameter. That's all. Then what are you putting back? You are putting your input inside the int. Input, open your this guy, the way you understand it, open your parameters, then put in what? You are going to put in a string and say enter your age, right? So this is what typically we're doing. So now if we come here and say age, if we come here and say a is equals to what? Age, that means we are assigning a to what? Age. So we are now saying now age, any age you put now here in your input, we want to add a plus what? B. So any age you have here, if you are 20 years old, if you add it to 30, that will give you 30, 40, 50, it will give you 50 years old. So C now is equal to what? We are not going to say A plus what? A plus B. So if we come here, we are going to be printing what? We are going to be printing C. Right? So if we come to this place, you say enter your age. So if I say 20, so it will give us what? 50 automatically. The only difference is that it took in what? Information. It said please enter your age. Then the thing, which was integer here, which was input. So the input is collecting the information called what? Age. Enter your age. So yeah, it collected the information, your age, which was my age. It collected the information, this age. You understand? And added it to what? To this other age. To B, which was 30. So in C is automatically adding A plus what? Plus B. So it's saying age plus B. So that's typically what we're doing. Also, you can also use it in where? I also explained that you can use it in your dictionary. So if you watch the dictionary video, you will understand it's still the same process. So I hope you understand now, so I can move on.
Yes, I do. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So moving on to function. Function is a very interesting class. It's nothing to be afraid of also. So what is function? Function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. You can pass data known as parameter into a function. Function can also return data as a result. So yeah, in programming, function is the most hardest thing that they made for programming, but I've simplified it for everybody. So this is a different class, don't be afraid. So this is how function work. So it's a block of code. So function is like a house. If you are saying it's a house, if you look at your streets, we have different house. So it's a house. So this house now, each house here, each house in here, I'm trying to get my mouse. Each house in here, this is a house, right? Each house here is a block of code. So this block of code takes in what? If you look at this place, it takes in what? It's a block of code which runs when it is called. I will explain this. So you can pass data. So that data that they are telling you is this. Let's say this house now, it has what? Television. It has this thing now. Let's just call it jacuzzi or swimming pool. So it has swimming pool. It has what? It also has, we can call this one kitchen. So this house, this another house, another function, a block of code. This another house that have what? Only window. So it does not have TV and the rest. But it's a function. All these ones, they are all both house. Then this other house, this big man house, is still a function. Everybody a function. But just that he has his own, send down your rain, this kind of roof, the biggest roof. So he has the biggest roof. He has two windows, and he have a door. He doesn't have TV. So it's function. So the data inside different from each other. So when you call the function, for you to go to this house, you need to knock to this house, right? So this guy need to call this house. You need to knock, come before this house open. If this house does not open, you cannot get the function. So this guy too, you need to knock to this house. If this house does not open, you cannot call the function. They will not open for you. You cannot know what is inside the house. If this guy go to this house, he knock too. You cannot know what is inside this big house. So that's how function work. Also, this also a house too. One of the biggest house too. It also has many rooms. So if all these guys go there, they can call the function. 3 of them can go to this house and call the function, or 3 of them can go to one house and call the function. So you can reuse what you can come to this house or come to this house and reuse them. So that's what function is about. So we'll be working with function, how to get started with function. So to create a function, we use what? We are using the def keyword. Def, so you call it by your function name. So we'll not be using this their own. So take note so that I can explain what I use. So if you say def, now we are saying house what? House 1. So this house does not matter actually. You understand? So this function name, this is the function name. This thing does not matter. So it's like a variable. So this guy is like a variable. Yes, but this is the main thing. To call the function, you need to use def. So this is a variable. You can call it anything. So here now, because remember when we're dealing with house now, so we want to create a function for this guy and call him what? House what? House A. And we can call him house A. Then this one house B and house C. So now we use the what? The def function. And now we now say def house followed by what? Your open or your parameters, I call it. So always understand your parameter. So you call it your parameter. That's why I always love calling it. So you open it, followed by what? Your double column. This is it. I mean, this how they call it. So followed by this guy. So when you call this guy, you click on enter. Remember, sometimes in the editor that you use, when you click on enter, it will go and start from maybe at this side of the screen, at the last side. So you have to count 1, 2. Sometimes if you just come here and click enter, it will give you 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, sorry. It will give you 1, 2. But sometimes you have to go and count. You have to go and count 1, 2 to get it. You understand? So now we'll say print what? Remember our print statement. We want to print to test the function. We can print the function, the work, or the function, the work. So we can do this. So now let's test. If we click on run, it shouldn't work. So it's not working, but we got no error, right? So let me explain why it's not working. So remember now we have created house what? House A, right? I can say this house A now. Okay, let's create more function, more of the house. Then let me explain why they are not working. So now if you want to create another function, take note. When you stop here, are you seeing this my line here? It stopped here. You have to carry this line back to the first corner of this place. Are you seeing it? To this corner, to the extreme first of this corner, to create another function. You now say def house B, followed by what? This is your parameter, the way I call it, or anything you want to call it, followed by what? Your double column. Then click enter. Luckily, if it gives you to this line, fine. But sometimes if you start from here, remember count 1, 2. So when you click on enter, I want to say print. So we cannot say this function they work. We need to say this is house. This is house what? House A. Then this other print will be what? This is house. This is house B. Then we have to create another function and call for house C. Define function house what? House C. Then we'll say this is what? This is house C. So this is house C, right? So if we click on run, it will not still work. But the main thing, are you seeing it's not working yet, but no error. But the major thing now is now, remember I said this guy need to knock on this door, house A, and this guy need to knock on this door before the doors will open. So how to work on that door now? You need to go and knock. You need to call somebody from the house. If you do not call somebody from the house, nobody will answer you. You understand? Nobody will answer you from that house. So how do you call somebody from the house? So let me teach you how to call somebody from the house. To call somebody from the house, let me still use this in case you want to go back. So calling a function now. You call the function by what? Using the variable name, right? Followed by the parentheses. That's the variable name you see in my function. But here we use what? House. So now I want to go and knock on that guy's house. Now I want to knock on this first guy's house. How do we do it? Somebody should explain to me. Can anybody try? Just unmute your mic and quickly tell me. If you don't know, it is fine.
Okay, let me say for us A.
Yes.
Just write as A with the,
Okay,
with the
house.
parentheses.
Okay, house A. Okay, with the parentheses. That's all right. Okay, can anybody try for house B?
Yes.
Okay, the same thing. Okay, house B. Then let's follow by the parentheses. Okay, let's go for house C also. House C followed by the parentheses. So if we click on run, let's see what we get. Okay, yeah. So we have gotten this is house A, this is what? House B, and this is what? House C. Take note, everybody is doing a different thing here. House A is only printing for what? House A. Remember when I explained to you using this diagram, everybody has his different things that he's doing. This guy has jacuzzi. This guy does not have jacuzzi. Remember here. So I can say this guy, I can also do print. Remember this man that had the biggest roof. The biggest roof. So I see had the biggest roof. This house had the smallest. This house had TV. So I'll say print. He has TV. Why this house? They have everything. Print. They have everything, right? So if we click on run, we'll get what? This house, this is house A, they have everything, right? This is house A. So house A now, this guy, house A here, only him, he has everything. So let's remove this guy now. Let's first remove all these guys and print only house A. Let's see what happens. So when that person go here and knock on house A door, this is an internet stuff. Oh. Let me see what's going on. Okay. So remember we are knocking on what? House A door, right? So we are only working with this door. We are knocking on this door now. So this is house A. They have what? They have everything, right? So it will only print what house A have because we're only knocking on what? House A door. So if we knock on house B door, it will give us what? This house B, has TV. This is house B, he has TV, right? So we are only knocking on this door. So if we knock on this door, house C, it will give us what? Somebody who should tell me what will be the output. If we knock on house C, this other man has tried, so we should leave him alone. The one that answered now. So somebody else should try. Let me see if somebody is following up with me. Somebody else should try. There's no time. Okay, Miss Abigail, you can try. So what would be the output of house C, this house?
Sir, you said it's for house C?
Yes. So this person is knocking on the door of house C now. So what will he see as the result?
He will see, this is house C, the biggest roof.
Okay, yes. So let's test. I don't know if you are correct too. Okay, yes, this is house C, the biggest roof. So you are correct. You understand how this thing works. So each function here, they do a different thing. But the only mistake you might make as a developer is going here to go and write function and say DEF. It doesn't work. A function inside a function. You are not yet a professional to do a function inside a function. You understand? So avoid it for now. And when you are creating a function, make sure you go and start from where? This last place of the line. And call it the function, followed by your variable name, your parentheses, close, and this your semicolon. So this is how function works. Typically how function works. So we can call each house. We can call house C, house A, house B. So it still works. We can call all the house and say house A, house B. So depending on you. So if we click on run, all the house will print out. All the function. This is house C, this is house A, this is house B. Depending how we code them. So that's how function works. So I'll quickly rush to arguments. What arguments are? Arguments can be information passed into functions. Information that are passed into functions are what? Arguments. I'll explain what that are. Information that are passed into functions are what? Arguments. So arguments are specified after what? Function name. Remember, this is a function name, are specified after function name inside the parentheses. Remember, this is the parentheses that I always call it. So inside the parentheses, that's where the arguments will take in. So you can add as many arguments as you want. Just separate them with what? Comma. So these parentheses can take in many arguments. I will explain what arguments are in an easy way. So the following example has the following function with one argument, def name. Okay, so I'll break arguments for you in a simple term. So in this our house now, imagine this person can't do aproko now. These guys now, they came to give this person, say, Oga, John steal money, you understand? So it's an argument, information that pass what to what? The parentheses. So it's this guy telling you that your security has stole money from the house. So let's work on it. So remember, if you come here in case maybe you are lost, you can come here to reference. And remember, argument are information that can pass into what? Function. Informations that pass into function are what? Arguments. So in this our parenthesis now, we need to create what? It's like a variable. So the information that is passed there. So we can call it gossip or report. Anything you can call it. So here now to pass a information to us A and call it what? Report, right? So I'm reporting what? The security. So in this report now, what do you do now? So the information that is passed into this report now, this is how to do it. This report is taking what? Remember, it's taking a variable. So yeah, this print, if you remember concatenation, it has taught you what? Concatenation, how to concatenate two strings together. So this is what they are talking about. So yeah, print what? Report, right? Plus, if you did concatenation, plus the reporting to the house. I'm just writing this reporting to my boss. To my boss. So now the argument, we have not yet passed the argument, remember? But this variable, we are calling this variable inside here and saying what? Whatever thing this guy reports as A, let me remove this rest guy. Whatever this guy reports, whatever this security man reports, I'm coming. So whatever this security man reports, right, as A, we are reporting it to what? The boss. I've not yet passed the report here. So this man that is going to tell you the report, it's him that is going to say the report, whatever information that will be passed inside here. So remember, the information that will pass in here will be plus what? Reporting to the boss, right? So now what is the information? If you look here, yeah, they are saying what? They're passing what? Name. But now they are reporting somebody. So the information will be what? A string for us. We'll put in string. Now say what? Sir, John stole 5K. So if we click on run, we're only printing out A. Remember, sir, John stole 5,000 naira. Reporting to what? To my boss. Or I can say, okay, security. I can reply here and say, okay, security. So if I say, sir, John stole what? 5,000 naira. Is this guy that is reporting? Is this guy that is the argument? Is he that is passing information to where? Is he that is reporting to us A that John has stole what? 5,000 naira. Abi? I hope it's clear now. Hello, do you understand it now? Or I should explain again?
Yeah, explain again, please.
Okay. So now let's Okay, let me remove this guy. So remember in this diagram now, when this guy knock on this door, it's what? We are calling what? This function, right? Do you remember this place? When this person, this is the
Yes.
security man, when he knocks on your house, you give him access to what? To this house. So now this guy, this security man is going to report that somebody inside the house have stolen money. That's what we are doing now. So this guy is the argument. That security man now is the argument, right? So it is the information that is passed to what? As a function. Let's see it here. So if you see the definition here, saying what? The information can be passed into function as argument. So the argument now, this security man now, okay, is because I'm calling it house. Let me call it security man. Maybe everybody will understand. Security, right? Security man. So security man now is passing what? An argument. He says, sir, John stole money. John stole money from your house. So now this security man is passing what? This guy is passing what? An information. He's passing information to where? He's telling the owner of this house, this only house. He's telling the owner of this house that somebody has stolen money. We don't know who is John, but him know who is John. So he's telling the person that John has stolen money from this house. You understand now? So John stole money. So now we need to pass inside here. We need to pass what is called an argument. So the argument now is followed by what? You need to pass in a function, a name. It's like a variable. Creating a variable now. We need to now create a variable here and say name. If you don't create a variable, it will not work. So now this guy now, he need to create a variable. Like you need to, I can call it, okay, son. Let me call him son. So now he's reporting to where? The son, right? That this guy, Sir John has stole money. Please tell your daddy, Abby. So he's telling somebody inside the house, he's telling the son that he has stole money. So now we need to print to make sure that he has stole the son. We say print what? We need to say son. Son, we use plus. If you're in the class from the beginning, we use plus and say son now. So the message that security is telling son is, sir, John stole money from your house. So son is reporting now with a response. Yes, daddy. Yes, daddy. John stole. Or security reported. Security reported. So if we click on run now, we get, sir, John stole money from your house. Yes, daddy. Security what? Reported. Please, if you don't understand it, so I can still recap again. Let me see if I can still break it down in a more simpler form.
Sir, please, for my sake, network.
Okay, you got lost.
Yes, sir.
Okay, which place were you lost?
I was just at the introduction when you say arguments are information passed into function.
Is your network good now?
Yes, much
so
better.
I can, okay. So now, this is what I was talking about. I said this is a security man. This man now, this guy here that I drew, is a security man. He is passing an argument, an information. Arguments are information passed to what? A function. Remember, this was our house A, right? So now this security man is passing what? An argument to where? To what? This house, to this function. So this guy too is passing another information to where? This house. This guy too is passing another information to where? This house. So now we're only working with this house, this guy and this house. So this security man now is passing information to this house to report that somebody has stole what? Money from this house, this particular house, nothing concerning with this house. So it's reporting that somebody has stole money from where? This house. So if you come here to do that now, we now say what? We have to call what? Remember, we are calling, if this guy does not knock the door, this door will not open. This guy need to knock on this house, which is this function, to get access to somebody inside the house before he pass the argument. That's the report. Before he pass the information to this house. So to pass the information now we now change house here so that everybody can understand. We call it security man, but now we now call it. So now we call it. So I have to call it security. So now I have to call it. Sorry for the interruption. So I have to call it what? Security. Oh my God. So I have to call it security what? And yeah. So you now copy the name, security man. Hello, please. Can I call you? I'm in a meeting, please. I beg, please. I'm in a meeting. Done? So now we have to pass. Tell Daddy that Roots has call for him. So we have to pass what? Security man. Are you seeing security man, right? Sorry for the interruption, guys. So we have to pass what? Security man. Security man now is the argument now. But remember this, we are calling this function. Security man now wants to call what? This function is going here to knock, right? So it's already knocking at this door, right? So if we click on run like this, let's remove this guy. Let's remove this guy first. So if we click on run now, security man is knocking where? On this door. So he's saying this is house A, right? They have everything. So this security man now, he wants to pass information to this house, right? He wants to pass information to this house. So now to pass that information, this security man now, you can put it in string and say, or I can also do something like this. I can create a variable and call it MSG. MSG means message. Message is equals to what? I want to pass the message. I can call it Sir John Stowe. I can call it Sir Martin Stowe. God forbid, but Martin Stowe money. So now I will now pass what? Message MSG here, right? I'm passing message. So security man has what? This message. So if I come here now this security man needs to take in what? He needs to take in something inside that parameter. Inside this parenthesis now, you need to take in what is passing. This house now does not know the message. So you need to communicate to somebody inside the house. To communicate with somebody inside this house now, with either the son, the mother, the father, or what? The children. So yeah, we can either communicate with what? Security man can report to cleaner and say, cleaner, pass the message. So now I've created what? A variable for cleaner automatically. So cleaner is the one to report what? This message by default. Security cleaner will now be the one to report this message by default. So if I come here and say print, if I say print what? I will now say cleaner, right? Cleaner. So cleaner automatically is reporting that Sir Martin Stowe money, right? So I now put plus what? Report. I can either put plus or I can leave it like this. So if I click on run, my code should still work. So it will say Sir Martin Stowe money. So this is how function works. So if you don't understand, please tell me so I can also still try, but we are down on time.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Okay, Israel.
Okay.
Israel.
Okay.
Can we take a break so you can? I will send a link for us to rejoin because we have elapsed the time. You know that.
Okay.
Free time, so we have elapsed time. So let's take a break. So when we start from the new time, we are going to start from class. Or where are you now? You are.
Let me quickly check.
Arguments, right?
I'm in argument, yes.
We are
Yes.
moving.
So I can just.
Yeah.
Yes, so they are good with argument.
Okay. Just continue the class. As soon as the class end, we are going to log in again. Okay.
Okay, should I continue with this function?
Yeah. Just continue.
Okay, from when I stop, right?
I think we are done with arguments now.
Yes, I think argument should be enough for them.
Yes, argument is enough for them. They will move to the
So with
next.
argument, yes, you can do that. The only thing that you need to learn now, this is only this thing that we have to add, that this guy can take in what? More than enough argument. The only thing you have to do is to put what? A comma. Yes, so you have to put a comma. So that's what you can know. This guy can also report to what? Son. So to report to son, you put what? Your comma and say son. So yeah, now you are creating what? Another variable for what? For son, to report to son. Then you can say, son, how are you? So you can take in much what? Argument. So if we click on run, it should not run because we have no calling son to be printed. So we can say son, we can either concatenate and say plus son. So if we still click run, it say son, how are you? Or rather, we can also come to a new line so you don't get confused and say son and call son. So if we call son, we say son, how are you? So this thing still work. You can take in more what? Arguments, more information. The only thing, you need to go and put comma. This comma, don't forget comma. And don't forget that when creating your function, you need to start where? You need to start at the very last what? At the very last place. You don't put function in between function. So I'll move to what? To class. What class are?
Okay, Israel, I want to explain something to them. Abigail
Okay, no
Sonto,
problem.
Abigail Sonto, uh, we are just trying to meet up with the target of a Python programming language. If you see that we don't want to go deep into the more advanced class, because in data analysis, these are what you need in Python, which we are trying our best to give you the knowledge. Not every topic here required in our data analysis. Okay, not every topic. We have to follow our curriculum to meet up with the target. Okay, I hope you got me clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
so we are moving to the last topic, which is class. Then we are from next class, we are going to data analysis proper, which instructor Xavier will take us through. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, can we take a break? Israel, can we take a break? I think in like,
Okay, no problem. If it's about to elapse now, we can take a break.
let's take a break by
Okay, it's about to end in 12 minutes.
yeah, so let's take a break by 9